Okay, here we go. This is James speaking. You're on the teachonline.io open classroom today. And what are we going to be covering? Well, I'm going to show you, actually, this is kind of an ad hoc one again. I try and do these as open classrooms based on questions that we get or I don't get, and then try and put something together that will help you out if you're a coach, a consultant, someone who's interested in selling or teaching online, and you want to have your classroom, you want to have a membership site, you want to be able to create and sell courses. So if that's you, we've got some great information for you today. Just going through what normally happens when someone creates a course, whether it be their first course or maybe they've created some courses already, and they're asking the big question, how come this isn't selling? Why is my course not selling? So that's what we're going to cover today. I think I've got 12 or 13 points on things that are probably forgotten. So we're going to go over those, and I'll give you a little surprise at the end. Not a surprise, a quick bonus at the end on how you can overcome these 12 pieces. And I'm also going to talk about kind of the 5 big problems that start off when people are trying to sell their course. So we'll cover that material. I'm going to make a couple changes here on my setup and see if we can, there we go, get some tracking set up and back onto this beautiful face for today's live webcast. So what's happening? How are we doing this? What are we going to cover? Well, let me just make sure we're streaming properly, and I think we are, which is a good thing. And there we go. There we go. Let's stop that. Perfect. Turn that off. So here's what's going to happen. I am going to show a little bit of some mind map stuff, which I used laying all of this out a little bit later. But I want to go over and just talk about the huge problem most people have when they're selling courses. And the big problem is that there's kind of a process that starts out when people get started, which doesn't really help them. Like what normally happens when someone does a course. So I'll go through those kind of quickly. And the biggest I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got 7 actually that we can talk about today. But there's 7 kind of things that happen normally when people create their course or first course, and they're wondering how come it hasn't sold or how come I'm not selling any. So here's kind of the first thing. Most people who are subject matter experts or people who want to teach and they're not sure, or they're just doing their first course, or they're having trouble selling them, is they create a course on an untested topic. So there's a huge problem for most experts, or again, coaches, consultants, speakers. If you're an expert on something, you are an expert on something, doesn't mean that the people that you are teaching want to be an expert or even want to learn what you're an expert on. So one of the things you want to do up front is you want to make sure that before you create any course, before you create a course, you want to make sure that the topic has been tested and there's some existing demand for the topic. And if there's no demand, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how much you know, how professional the course is, or whatever you put together. It just doesn't matter if no one wants what it is that you're selling or wants to know about what you're teaching. No one's going to buy it or pay for it. And in fact, no one is actually going to even view it. So, we've talked in the past about doing things where you're doing something specifically for YouTube where you're not selling it, you're just providing a tutorial or some basic education. People aren't even going to view it if they don't care about what it is that you're trying to teach. So the first thing is you got to make sure that you've got a tested topic. And again, we've covered this in a couple other videos on how to test your topic, but just make sure, like tick this one off right at the start and say, yes, I have tested the topic. I understand how it applies to me. And more importantly, I understand how it applies to other people, and they want to know or learn what it is that they're testing. So that's kind of the first thing that you want to make sure that you do. Now, kind of tied to that is when people make their course, what normally happens when they're making their course is they make the course based on the content that they as the instructor thinks is important. It's a course for the instructor. You're in your head and you go, what do I need to share with people? Like, how do I share what it is that I know? and you go through from your perspective, ticking off in terms of the course content, you're sharing what you think is important. You've got to flip that around and make sure that you put together your course content in a way that engages and educates the people who are going to be viewing it. So it's got to be from their perspective, not yours. You're going to have trouble selling any course if it's not coming from the perspective of the person who's going, man, I want to sell my courses. What do I need to do? Not what do I need to check off to share with people. It's what does the learner or the student or the person consuming it, what do they need to do to figure this out? Now, in this particular example, I need people to know who are having trouble selling their courses. I need them to identify with one of these and go, hey, these are things that are affecting me. And that's why we're going through this part up front. So it's got to be a course that's not for you, but it's for your students and the perspective that they have, not what you have. So if you're doing that, you got a proven topic, something that's interested. The biggest problem that I see in creating courses is at the end of the day, the course is overly produced in terms of the video production or the content production and the way it looks, or you as the instructor want it to be perfect and professional, and you don't focus on the quality content, again, that the learner needs. So these first courses, it doesn't really, I shouldn't say it doesn't really matter. Put less emphasis on the production quality and more emphasis on the learning experience and the content quality. So don't focus on the production part, focus on the content and the engagement part. That's another one. Here's the other one, number 4. That was number 3. Number 4, I'm going to touch on this quickly. Number 4, the big problem that I run to time after time is that when people are creating a course, I've seen some people take 6 months to create a course, a year to create a course. I remember when I wrote my first book, it took me almost a year to write the book. And I write new content. I had it in my head, and it was stuff that I was doing on a regular basis, but I wrote it out as new. For your first courses, one of the other problems that I find that most people do is they create new content for a course. And I think that's a huge mistake because it takes just too long. What I'm going to suggest that you do, instead of creating new content, what I want you to do is capture the content you're creating already and turn it into a course. And again, that's something called digital exhaust. I need you to capture your digital exhaust and convert it to courses, not create a course from scratch. So another huge problem there. Number 4. Number 5. People who create a course, and most notably their first course, and they're wondering why it's not selling, is because they're focusing on creating a course. I'm going to suggest that you need courses. Courses, that's right. You're going to have to be able to sell some courses, or that hub and spoke model where you have a theme at the center of it and you have multiple courses supporting that theme or supplementing the idea of the theme or the subject matter that you want to share with people, or the big goal that you're trying, the big fat claim that you're trying to be able to provide to people who are consuming your content. So don't focus on one course, focus on the theme or the hub and the smaller courses and how they apply to that big promise that you're making. And think of it like a wheel, right? You've got a hub. If you've got one spoke, one course, that's not a very sturdy wheel. You're going to have a lot of trouble. On the other hand, if you have 3 spokes, 4 spokes, 6 spokes, 7 spokes, you've got a lot more support for that big picture that you're providing. So always think in the background, you're probably going, why doesn't this one course sell? What often happens is you try and have one course that covers everything, which isn't a great idea. It's very, very hard to sell because you have to describe what it is that you're selling. Long time to put it all together. So think of a hub and a spoke model. Focus on one spoke at a time that supports the promise of the hub. Okay. 2 other things I just want to talk about, and then I'm going to go through some of the things that we run into on a regular basis. And again, if you do run into a situation where there are some questions here, make sure to put them in the chat or subscribe to the channel, and there's an opportunity in the description. I'll put all the links below, of course, to the teachonline.io site, which is free to join, where we have hundreds of tutorials available, as well as the ones here that are on YouTube. So you certainly go and subscribe, hit that like button, go and subscribe there. So last two I want you to think about on why your courses are not selling, and these are pretty big ones. You have no marketing plan or no course marketing plan. And you put up a content, you create a video, you put it up on YouTube, you put it up on your website, and you go, man, I'm done. Send an email out to my list. Great, how come no one's buying it? The course is only one part of your business. The course is only, again, a spoke in the marketing of your business. There's all sorts of other ways to generate revenue from courses, and think of a course not as the only way to generate your income for your business, but it's a spoke or a revenue stream that is part of a whole network of revenue streams. So don't just focus on, I created my big course, it's got tons of great content in it, took 6 months to do it, it covers everything, it's the be all and everything. I'm going to put it up, and I got it on my site, or I put it on one of the services where I can sell courses. How come no one's buying it? Has to be part, or you want to have it as part of a business model that includes courses and other revenue streams. And you want to be able to sell the course, not just present it. And this is a big problem that I run into with a lot of people who just have great stuff in their head. They want to sell their content, but they forget to do some selling. You're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to follow up with people. You're going to have to be engaged with people, be persuasive, and tell people why they even want to buy what it is that you're selling. You have to sell something. And here's the big takeaway from all of this, why your course is not selling. And when I first started doing this, it was all about, email marketing. You could, in the early 2000s, when I started selling courses, you could just send email out to your list and people would buy courses because there weren't a lot of courses. Now there's an overabundance of courses, and you have to be able to inform and educate people about your course in a whole bunch of different ways. And what is that key way? It's content marketing. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to go through some of the pieces of content marketing, or the other steps that you have to take to sell your courses. So if you were looking at those 7 ways that we just went through and you're going, my course isn't selling, and no, I didn't test the topic, or no, I wrote it from my perspective, not my student's perspective, and oh boy, I spent a whole bunch of money with a video editor, putting it all together, getting it fancy. I did that. I bid one big course instead of a whole bunch of little courses that all fit together. I don't have a marketing plan. I was hoping that if I put this course together, I'd be able to retire independently or have this passive income stream that I'm told about all the time. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. At the end of the day, today, where we are today, it's all about content marketing. You are going to have to become a content marketer or have someone who's professional doing content marketing on your behalf. And I run into this all the time. We've got, a lot of authors and speakers who are really good up on the platform. They may have written a book. They haven't created a course, and they don't know how to do all of that follow-up or marketing the content that they have to get people to want to buy the course that they're selling. So it's going to be about content marketing, which is, there's an awful lot to it. There's a lot to content marketing. And again, I'm going to go through them. What did I have? I got one. Let me just see if I can open up the screen here. We'll put it and see if I can, let's go to the screen here. And what do we got? Let's open this up. I think we're okay here. We'll open up this one, and it's untitled. There we go. Okay. So we should have the screen. Let's make sure I'm on the screen. And it doesn't look like that one. So let's try that one. There we go. Let's try that one. Okay. We'll go back to there. Don't want to do that one, so we'll do another one here. And again, this is the Ecamm Live that I'm using, brand new with it. So you'll see some glitches and stuff that gets marked up. So I'll bring that one up and we'll see if we can get that one working. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, and I actually put a course together on this one about how to use Xmind, which I use to put the courses together. This is actually what I did just before we got on, is I went over some of the pieces on why courses don't sell and what we're actually going to cover here. So, I talked about what normally happens. I spelled it incorrectly, but it's there. So that's there. But content origin, here's we'll go through these pieces and kind of why they're important. Content marketing, again, this isn't everything. This is just the things that came off the top of my head on what you should consider when we're doing this content marketing is blog posts, video, podcasts, and webinar recordings. And here's the whole idea behind content marketing is that you have to have, again, content in the form of one of these pieces that I've written down. At a minimum, there's usually text, audio, video that are pieces there. You have to use the content to distribute that as wide as you possibly can with links back to your course and or a way to capture an email to get people to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested. And at the minimum, you want to capture an email address. So you're going to have to produce or use information or content that you've captured, and you're going to have to grab onto it, hold on to it. And here's some of the ones that I recommend that you're doing. And they're not in any order, and I'll tell you why. Blog posts, if you are proficient at writing blog posts that are good content that people will actually want to take the time to read, I envy you because I hate writing blog posts. I wrote for, again, when I first started, I wrote a monthly article for Entrepreneur Magazine. And I can remember those articles, I think, were, 1,500 to 2,000 word articles. It would take me a day and a half to write an article that was of the quality for Entrepreneur Magazine. So that's a day or a day and a half just to write a one-page blog post as an example. It was for Entrepreneur Magazine, but I put it up on my website. It was a blog post. And that was something that people wanted to read that had a particular topic that people wanted to learn about. And I was assuming that they were going to read all 2,000 words. Are they going to read 2,000 words? I don't really know. Are they going to read it today, or are they going to watch a TikTok video or a YouTube short for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or a minute? So if you can do blog posts, that's fine. You're proficient at it. That's great. If you have a whole bunch of them, we can repurpose them. But blog posts are one of the pieces of content that I suggest that you hold on to. Now, what do I mean by this? The reason blog posts are still important is because when you have a blog post on your website, it's a way to direct people back to your website, not necessarily your course. There's search engine optimization. There's an ability to have opt-ins on blog posts. It's just a way to have feelers out, to have people come back to your site to start the engagement process to get people involved in your course. So blog posts are a good idea I think you should always have them. What I'm saying is that a blog post doesn't have to be written. It can be created from the other three pieces of content that we're talking about here. What is it? Videos, podcasts, and webinar recordings. And these are, for the most part, it's audio information or it's video information that can also be converted to text to be turned into a blog post. So you're going to have some content origin there. You want to be able to go, look, I'm going to go all in on video. I'm going to create all sorts of videos because I like doing it. I like doing Camtasia videos. I like talking to the camera. I'm pretty good doing it. If you can do that, go all in on it. Pick one of them. We're going to show you how to create a blog post from it. If you have a regular podcast where you're interviewing other people, or you're doing Zoom calls or recordings or interviews with video, capture all of this stuff. Capture all of that content. And that's the one thing that you've got to make sure that you do up front is, how do I capture the content? Capture everything. This is that digital exhaust that I was talking to. This is stuff you do on a regular basis. You're talking to customers, you're talking to partners, you're talking to suppliers. With their permission, capture it. Capture the video, capture the audio. Okay, so just capture as much as you can and hang on to that content because you're going to use it to market your course. Now, okay, market my course again. Got these 4 pieces. I'm starting to collect it. What happens from there? And I've got a couple pieces here. And let me just do, actually, we'll do a little zoom here and see if I can do it a little bit bigger so we see it. There we go. So here's some interesting things here. I got this tracking analytics. These is just, I was just thinking these going through them. It wasn't something that I went, hey, we got to do it this way. And I won't move them around. I'm actually going to move one of the pieces kind of up here. I'm going to take this one called transcriptions and we'll put this one up here. Now, why would I put transcriptions underneath the content origin? You can use, there's a number of tools that do this. I'm going to suggest that the minute you capture some content, that you get a transcription of the content, if it's video or audio. And how do you do that? The easiest way to do that is to use a tool, and I'll open it up here, is to use a tool called Descript. And delete that one there. There's one for Camtasia called, I think it's Audiate for Camtasia from TechSmith that I used to do screen captures. There's one there, there's a little bit of money to it. I'm gonna get rid of that one. We'll just keep it at Descript, which is inexpensive. This tool takes your podcast, takes your video, it turns it into words. So if you have captured some of this content, you have the ability to automatically create text from it, which can be used in all of the different places that we're talking about. So you got some content, you have audio, video, and now you have text with it. So what's needed after that? We're going to have some graphics. So let's move that one up. And again, graphics in terms of grabbing people's attention is the be all and end all right now, especially if you're on YouTube. Same thing happens if you're doing course graphics or you're introducing courses. Same thing happens when you're doing a blog post. It's really important that you're going to have to create some graphics for your content. So not only do we have to have content to do content marketing, we need all 3 types of content in this case. We need the text, the audio, and the video. The 4th piece that we're going to need is we're going to need the visual graphics to grab attention. Now there's a whole bunch of tools for doing that. I use one called Snappa, snappa.com. There's Canva, which is another one that's very popular. And again, I'll put the links in below for you to look for all these different tools. But you're going to have to create some graphics. And if you can't create them, make sure that you have someone can create them for you, because the graphics are really, really important when you're looking at, of course, the courses. So let's go take a look at, for example. So here's one here. Let's just go back and see if I can get this screen on there. And I'm getting the wrong screen, which is not what I wanted. So let's go and see if we can switch that one. There we go. Hopefully that one shows. Perfect. Okay. So this, for example, is a listing of some of my screens, but you have to have graphics to sell your courses. And there's a whole science behind selling your courses. It's similar to doing something that you're doing on YouTube. So you're going to be in a position where you're really going to have to get good at either creating graphics or making sure that you have someone that create graphics for your courses to start off with. That's right, just for your courses to start off with. So we have the course graphics, but what are the other graphics we're going to need? You're going to be marketing your content on social media. So if you have graphics for your course, you're going to have graphics that are appropriate for YouTube thumbnails. Anywhere that you're doing social media posts like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, all of those social media properties that you have, you need a graphic that can be used not only in the course, but in the social media postings that you're going to be doing. And again, we have a tool that we sell and market for auto posting to different groups, to different social media platforms, but you're going to have some graphics. So it's not only just having a course, content marketing, you have a content that you're capturing, you need transcriptions, you need graphics. You got to have those graphics that are available for the course, but also for the content marketing of the course. What else do we need to do? I'm going to put social media up here underneath graphics because those are tied together. I'm going to suggest that if you have any kind of course, you are going to have to market the heck out of it on social media. Not only you personally being engaged in groups and pages that are related to your topic and or spokes, your hub and or spokes, but you're going to have to be posting on your own behalf. You're going to have to post teasers to the courses. You're going to have to post on social media partial information on it to get people interested in more of the course. You're going to have to give all sorts of value in social media, again, to get people back to the sales page for your course to help sell it, or at least capture an email address to get them to do that. So graphics, social media posting, again, we have a tool that automatically posts. And this is the part that, again, we've covered this in another course, but I want you to just think about this. Some people go, well, why do you focus, James, on blog posts at the top here? Why are blog posts so important to you? The social media posting tool that we do, there's an automation in it that says whenever you have a blog post, and just think about this, if you have a blog post that has a graphic, that has text, may have a video embedded, it may have a podcast embedded on it. If you have that, what this tool does is it will automatically post any new blog on your website. It will do a social media post to all of the social media platforms that you are a part of, and all of the links on those social media platforms, they go back to the blog post, which is on your site where your course is, or at a minimum, it's on your blog post where there is a link to your course sales page. So that's why I focus on blog posts first as content. But this social media and graphics is to get people to go back to your site, to go back to your sales page of your course. So graphics and social media, what did I put in there? Full posts and repurposed. Yeah. So here's another one. I put repurposed because when social media kind of first came out, it was all about, the Facebooks, the Facebook pages, the LinkedIn profiles, the LinkedIn pages. They were all about what I call full posts. What's happening now is you're in a situation where we have what I call repurposed social media, and those are in general the YouTube shorts or the TikTok videos, which are, instead of the traditional 16:9 wide ones, they're the narrow ones for the smartphones. And they're usually, the length that is appropriate for those videos is either under 3 minutes or under 60 seconds. So if you have a large video that maybe you captured, or an audio podcast that you captured, how do you take part of it and repurpose it so that it can be used on the social media platforms? So you're going to have to use some tools. There's one called repurpose.io that will actually take portions of a webinar recording, portions of a webcast, portions of a video that you created or hung on to, and it will repurpose that and make it something that you can use to broadcast or add to these other TikToks and YouTube shorts, additional formats and restricted length kind of social media content. So you want to make sure that you do that and go from there. What else do I have here next? Tracking and analytics is kind of the next one that I had down. How important is that? Well, let me just do this one first. I'm going to go, which one will I do? Yeah, let me just think of this one. I'm going to do tracking and analytics. Now, why am I going to do this one? Because even though we're putting all of these points down, I don't know which one is the best one for you and your situation. And if you don't know, you may not have to do all of these in the same order or the same amount. You may be able to focus on one or two and find out, am I getting my traffic from SEO? Am I getting it from social media? Is it a balance between the two? Am I getting it from joint ventures and affiliates, which we'll cover in a second? Am I getting it from YouTube shorts or TikTok shorts, or is it only coming from a Facebook page? You want to make sure that just because your course is published, you have a way to track and analyze where people that are buying, or where people who are finding out about it, where are they coming from and looking at it? And if they're looking at it, how long are they looking at it? Are they buying it? Are they going through the other, the whole piece? Are they opting into the emails? You have to have something in place where you can start tracking which one of these are. So I think it's UTM or Universal Tag Manager. You have to start tagging where this advertising, unpaid advertising, social media, for example, blog posts, you want to make sure that you are able to tag and manage where people are coming from so that you can analyze it, do more of what's working and less of what's not working, and focus on the part that works. So you're going to have some tracking and analytics in place. Again, I'll put some links in the bottom for those. I'm going to do this other one too here, descriptions. I'm going to move that one up, and SEO. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this other one here too. We'll do affiliate links in under descriptions, and we'll do, we'll do this one. I'm going to do these two here. Now, this is especially important when you're doing social media posts or you're using YouTube for your content marketing. And what I'm talking about there is you have to have, there's a science to descriptions, titles, and thumbnails on YouTube. This can be applied to courses and course selling. So you want to get really good at putting together descriptions for your courses, titles for your courses, images for your courses, exactly the same as YouTube content creators are doing, that engages people, gets them to stay, gets them to click. And you have to focus on those titles and descriptions and make sure that you have ones that are working. And more importantly, because our material is public on a blog post, in many cases, are they SEO friendly? Do we have these descriptions and my written content, my transcript content, is it focused on the topics and the groupings or niches or keywords, phrases, the market that I'm trying to market to with my search engine optimization? So descriptions in SEO, you've got to do that. Again, it's not just publishing a course. You want to make sure that you have a great title, you have great images and graphics, and it's SEO optimized. And again, there's some tools that allow you to do that. vidIQ, for example, on YouTube. If you're posting to YouTube, it'll let you know how optimized is the description on YouTube. Can I use that? Or Rank Math, for example, can I use that on my website, my WordPress site, to make sure that I'm writing great descriptions that are optimized for search, so that if someone is searching for the topic on Google, they're going to find yours. If someone is searching on YouTube for the little information short that you put on, or the 5 tips that relate to your course, are they optimized? So again, SEO descriptions, really, really, really important. Affiliate links. Here's one that most people don't think of. Remember I talked about multiple spokes and multiple revenue streams? You want to have partners or affiliate links that you can use that are related to your products and services, where you can generate some extra income, where you're referring someone and say, hey, well, click here for a discount, or here's a tool that I use, click this link. And you want to make sure that you can create or sign up as an affiliate at these third parties, tools, services that you use or recommend, and hopefully you can earn some commission on people that go, well, I'm not really interested in the course, but I do need one of the tools that, for example, James was using. So if you wanted to go, for example, and find out about vidIQ, you could click the link below in the description. Any of the links that I have in the description, if that company or that service has an affiliate program where I can earn a referral income by sending traffic there, I have an affiliate link. You click on it, I get a small commission if you buy something from their site. So get affiliate links signed up. Again, those hub and spokes that you put together, think of all the products and services that support what you're doing, the ones that you use, the ones that you know of that you can recommend. Those ones you all want to have affiliate links for, to be able to use in the descriptions, the SEO, all of those pieces. It's not about just selling your course. If someone's not going to buy your course, you can still earn income from the fact that you are marketing your course by sharing content that is related to the course. So here's a couple other ones I'm just going to talk about. We'll move up. I'm going to move up emails before joint ventures. Now, what are the emails that you have to send when you are marketing a course? There's tons of them. And if you don't do this, your course isn't going to sell. You have to have these courses, these emails, not only to get people to buy the course, but you want to make sure that they enjoy the course and they finish the course. So there's a ton of emails that you have to be put into place. And these are automations that should happen automatically, and they should be pre-written before you start marketing your course. What are they? Well, let's look at some examples. Launch series. Again, when we started off, we didn't need a launch series. We would just say, hey, we got a brand new course. Here's the course. It's this. Go check it out. Oh, here's your last chance. It was 1 or 2 emails. It was done. Oh, if you missed the link or you didn't get the email, here's the link to the course. It was nothing that was fancy. It was just 1 or 2 emails. Hey, I did this. I did this. Now you want to have a launch series. We have launch series that are anywhere from 7 to 9 emails that introduce a course over a period of week or 2 weeks, for example. But it's a prolonged series of emails because it's much harder to get people's attention now for any new courses that you're putting together. So, you've got to be in a situation where you have these written ahead of time, and you are able to have them written, get people that are on your list, be able to send them out hands off, and have them gently guided towards your course. And again, we've put together, I think we've got 1 in 7, sort of a template of 7 or a template of 9, can't remember on that one. So there's the launch series. There's also the onboarding series. So they sign up for the course. You want to make sure that they're taking the course, that they got logged in okay, what to do if they have questions, how to get around the course, what are the additional resources that they should know about. You have to have an onboarding series of messages that go out automatically after someone has purchased. So you got to do this up front. You can't do it and then sell your course, like just sell the course and do this after. You want to have this up front. An offer or an upsell series or a lost sale series. If someone, signs up to signs up to your newsletter, checks out the sales page, but doesn't buy anything, you want to have a lost, you want to have a follow-up series, whether it's, they leave something in the shopping cart or they visit the pages and then they don't buy. You want to make sure that you can follow up with those people and hopefully be in a position where you can, kind of re-win the sales. And then follow-up series. If someone has taken the course, follow up with them, get some feedback, get them to refer people, ask them to be an affiliate if they aren't already, promote it to their list. You want to put these pieces in place. And that's just an example of 4 email series. There might be 25 or 30 emails that will need to be written at some point here just for those 4. Okay, so there's a lot of work that goes in it. And if you're not doing this, you're not going to be making as many sales as you could or you should if you have a topic of a course that is well put together, that is in demand for. Here's a couple other ones. I'm just going to put these ones in place here. Joint ventures and affiliates. And again, this is one of the ones that most people forget about, is that if you have partners or existing customers or suppliers or people that you recommend, reach out to them and say, hey, I've got a brand new course, and would you mind referring people to the new course? And if you have an affiliate program, you can offer them a referral fee and hopefully get more people in to those blog posts where you can capture their email address, or the sales pages where hopefully they're going to purchase your course. And there's always 2 kinds of traffic, right? There's the traffic that you have or you generate yourself, and then there's everyone else's traffic. And I can guarantee you that everyone else's traffic is much larger than your traffic alone. So at the start, if your course isn't selling, you may have a small group of people that you're marketing to. But there are opportunities with joint ventures, again, with these complementary businesses and complementary marketers and affiliates that you have or that you can gain, and give someone a reason to promote your course. And think about this as a strategy, because especially if you're starting out, if your course isn't selling, you might not be getting in front of enough people. Just not enough people, you're not going to make the sales. Okay? Sponsorships. Sponsorships is something to think about if you're teaching about or sharing a lot of information about other particular tools or services that are included in yours. So there's an opportunity to earn some money there. The cool thing about sponsorships is if people are sponsoring your material, they'll often send their traffic to you just to as a valuable asset for them. They're going to tell people, hey, here's something that we promote. Here's a service. Here's a course that we promote. It's there. And I'm going to talk about press releases. Press releases are kind of an interesting thing that doesn't get used in the more traditional internet marketing realm. But if you are selling courses corporately or business to business, there is still value in doing traditional online press releases and news-related posting. And I know for me personally, LinkedIn, I use Flipboard. There's a number of services that I use that are all news-related stories. And if you're doing business to business specifically, or you're doing a little more upscale courses, there's nothing wrong with adding your content to traditional news sources. There's a lot of value in still doing that. And then upsales. I want to just talk on upsales. And again, this is, if you get this thing, it makes a world of difference. It's not about one course. There are all sorts of different business models where you can have multiple courses, where you sell the courses individually, you sell them in order, you sell them in groups or in bundles, you sell them as memberships, you bundle everything together as memberships. There's a whole bunch of different business models. And if you have this in place, the fact that you get someone to purchase one course, or even if they don't purchase, you still have these other courses to offer them, to upsell them, or to get them engaged in your business model, in your business system. So think of the big picture here. Why are my courses selling? Well, maybe it's not just this one course or one answer that you're providing that they need. It might be one of the other questions they have that you can answer with a course you've already created. Okay? And the last one I have here is tools. Now, why did I put tools? Now, we take a look here and there's 12 different things here. That's a lot of work and no one's going to do all of it. And as much I would love to say, hey, here's all the stuff you need to do, you don't need to do all of these. You have to think about them, pick the ones that you can, and automate as much as possible. You need to have a system or a process. You say, if I launch a course or if I create a course and it's good quality content that I know people want, and it's produced enough that I'm comfortable with it to share the outcome that I'm promising with people, I don't have to do all these, but I've got to do some of them, and the ones that you do, you're going to have to automate. So you have the course creation on one side, you have the content marketing on the other side. It's getting them together in the form of getting a customer to share their income with you, share their pocketbook with you in order to get the promise that you're making. And some or all of these things are going to be required. You want to automate as much as possible, or even outsource it and get a partner to do this for you. And this is one of the things that we provide to people is content marketing, because what I found personally is that there are a ton of really smart people who have great courses or great ideas for courses that people want to buy, but they don't have time for content marketing. And these are all things that you're going to want to think about. The important ones that I want you to focus on in my kind of the way that I look at it and what I've seen with myself and other people selling courses is it's that content marketing, capturing your digital exhaust, creating social media posts from it, and at the bottom, the minimum, make sure that you have emails to follow up with people. Email is still powerful if it's done over the longer term in sequence and it's automated. So, these other pieces, while they're important, if you at a minimum make sure that you're capturing the content, creating social media posts, creating email posts, that's an absolute great way to get started. And it's going to dramatically improve selling courses, because at the end of the day, if you're not selling courses, if you're just not selling courses, you're in a position where you're not doing enough marketing or content marketing to put this all together. So, man, I covered, these are funny because I get this stuff in my head and I just put this together this morning because it's one of the things we're doing in our business is reevaluating all of the different pieces at the end of the year here. What are the things that we're doing to market courses? And I just started scribbling these ones down and trying to put them in a little bit of an order for myself, but not only for myself, but for you as well. So I hope at the end of the day, let's go back and we'll put it to me here. There we go. So at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that that we're in a situation where you can actually go out and be able to sell your courses, and there's real value in the course for you, right? There's nothing wrong with you sharing your expertise and earning some money from it. You don't have to worry and say, hey man, I didn't really earn as much as I wanted to, or I should be earning more money. Don't be afraid to get in there and ask people. Let's see what we got there. I'm going to see it. I can't get myself back on the screen, so let's see what's there. There we go. Perfect. I'm back. So don't be afraid to ask for money. Don't be afraid to sell your courses. There is an outcome that you're promising to people, and if you have the ability to do or help people do what it is you're promising them, don't be afraid to ask for some money. And when you're asking for money, content marketing makes it a lot easier, and it's something that you're just sharing more information and you're excited about, you're passionate about. You deserve to get paid for that. So I wish you guys all the best when you're selling your courses or not selling your courses and want to sell your courses. Try and think of these steps. I'll put a little checklist together at the bottom for you. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button. What are those other things you need to do to subscribe? We're providing or creating content on a regular basis here on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to visit teachonline.io. That is our community site where we have hundreds of video tutorials, and I think there's 5 or 6 mastery courses now. The way that we do it is we give away a whole bunch of mini courses / tutorials, but our mastery courses are paid courses. And many of the video tutorials that you see on YouTube here will also be available on Teach Online, along with some other resources. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. I have fun doing these. There's going to be a lot more coming. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the area below, or of course, make sure to please visit Teach Online again. So thank you much. We'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, this is James Maduke speaking from teachonline.io. Our other site is trainingsites.io, and that's our digital marketing agency where we help subject matter experts like you start, build, and grow your own training site so that you can teach online. Take care. Expect the best.